All right, guys. Welcome to Nationals Round 1. We've got two Seattleites battling it out, Mr. Doug Taylor and Joe Peters. So, unfortunately, they got matched against each other first round. These guys have played against each other plenty. But two fierce competitors and similar deck archetypes. You see Joan on the front line for both of them. She's going to provide that speed, that late game EFL bonus. In addition to late game stuff, Joe's also running Spartan Training Ground. So my dad is also, I don't know where it is. Oh, there it is. It's on the left of which there. So they both have Spartan. They both have EFL. Both very comfortable going late game. The difference is we have Joe has a frontline sheriff and Cthulhu, who's going to provide additional speed, whereas my dad has Morgan, which is going to chain into those sheriff taxes in the 9, but he's going to be missing out on the +2 and the flaming arrows. And then he's got Witch, who's going to provide that, harness the wind. And yes, we're going to call it harness the wind instead of wind because that's the appropriate name for that card. So I didn't see who won the dice off here, but we'll find out in just a brief moment. They're waiting for the go-ahead to begin the game. I think both players are going to want to go first here. Going second and regrowing a dupe is nice. I know for that Ladies in the Law deck my dad's playing, I played an identical version. Really nice. But the speed factor and being able to dump. I also think that Morgan with that extra negate, there's more Reaper defense in Ladies in the Law versus the Cthulhu build. Looks like Joe went first, so he decided to place a big ol' 8 on Cthulhu. Dad places taxes. We'll see if he has the Morgan 3 to go with it. Looks like there's a brute force teamwork slap down on Sheriff. Ooh, harness the win. There it is. Huge advantage for round 1 for my dad. Got an ally on Joan, representing more speed, as long as he has some kind of special to go with it. I'm sure he does. Then nice offsuit energy. Combat ally on Morgan, keeping pace card for card. Oof, EFL for Joe. That's big. That's big. Joan 4 for my dad. Provide a nice little counterattack, although Joe will know that he would probably not block the combat because he has 2 and then 2 additionals coming perhaps. So probably going to have to eat that, at least. I mean, you can't block one unless you're going to block both. Is that a 3 intellect on Sheriff? Be able to follow his own teamwork or keep it for defense, which is nice. He does have the Morgan 3. So more combat, but that will allow him to sling out that taxes unless Joe dumps the 8 brute force that's sitting on Cthulhu. And an 8 energy. So they're both looking pretty loaded up for this first hand. I'm curious what the bidding's going to look like. Both players with 2 cards remaining in hand. Looks like a 7 energy and a 7 intellect. Any character in my dad's hand. Not sure what Joe's holding. Joe bids 2. Now you got to be a little bit scared of the Reaper in Joe's hand. He's going 2, maybe as a fairy. 2 to 2. It looks like they're going to go slug it out hand 1. There's that 3 ally into Joan. Oof. He has no defense for Joan, so it would be unfortunate if she gets... I don't think Joe has the teamwork strength from Cthulhu in hand. He probably would have placed it, but... Oh, there's the Reaper, hand 1. Oh, that's so brutal. Dad has an extra defense in his deck for that, but he just doesn't have it this hand. Gonna call combat. Oh, interesting. He chooses to not lose 2 Spartan cards, but just 1, protecting that. It gives him basically a 1 for 3.5. Interesting decision. I don't know if I would want... Maybe he's going to try and place out and run and then bring it back. There's multiple Morgan 3s in the deck, so that's not the end of the world. But yeah, he just immediately runs. Joe had the 4 and the 5 or a 6. Looks like a 6, so he could have trained up that 4. Anyone except Cthulhu, who also has the 8. Oh, that's a brutal, brutal hand 1 for my dad. We'll see if he can come back. Stupid freaking Reaper. It'll get you. If he didn't have that, I mean, that's a whole different fight right there. Now, Joe, I think, was still in a solid position. He could have blocked some of that stuff, but and maybe keeping Joan alive was a win for my dad because he had nothing to stop that 2-hit teamwork string from the sheriff. That brute force into the intellect. He would have just wiped Joan hand 1, which he could have honestly done. Well, I guess he didn't. He did have a multi, so he could have gone 1, 2, 3 into Joan and just hoped there was no defense. There, he got his own EFL, so maybe Dad can get a caught up on the placing here, and then bet 1 and run, and then turn this fight around. Joe places another ally, just representing so much speed with that deck. An ally on Joan, ally on Cthulhu. Ugh, brutal. 1 teamwork, 2 allies. EFL. Joe's representing so much speed, and with initiative, that's just, oh, there's another Morgan 3. At least he can pump that taxes out. I think Joe's going to probably make him use it because I doubt he's going to dump that 8 intellect, or excuse me, 8 brute force for Cthulhu offensively, even though it might be a good counterplay to do so because he really wants to keep the great old one alive. That's his only 8 ranker on the team, as well as he hasn't seen any specials for him yet, so it would be pretty devastating to see him go down. And he is quite aware of the speed that Ladies in the Law has. I mean, he's tested against it more than pretty much anyone at this point. Well, there's the Witch 7 on the home base. Okay, so Dad's catching up on placing. Maybe he'll be able to bet 1 and run and then rip a fairy or something. And he still has harness, so I totally forgot that. He still has harness this whole time, so although it would be frustrating to play it in a low bet just to keep Joan alive, but he does always have that emergency switch. It's like he has 2 left, 2 or 3 left. Joe's up a few cards here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Plus in hand. Oh, interesting. He only bets 1. Now, Joe's known for doing this kind of as a feint. Yeah, Dad goes 2. Interesting. I think he's down a card or 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we'll see here. Teamwork at Joan. He's going to make him use the harness ASAP. I like this play from Joe. Just make him spend it, and then you don't have to deal with it anymore. Dad's got a shiny shoes, and not sure what else he's got sitting in his hand. It's like a 6 any power. Yeah, 7, something like that. Boom, blocks it. Oh, gross. The one with EFL and the teamwork follow-up becomes a 4, offsuit 4. Super annoying to block. I may have to spend harness in the first action here, which is just so annoying. Is he going to play it? Yeah, looks like he's throwing it out there. So now it's imperative that Dad keeps a placing advantage, whatever he can. Hope that Joe has no cards in hand. Maybe play that shiny shoes. Do something in order because Joe is now incentivized to run ASAP because it doesn't matter how many attacks he has. They can all be color coordinated on the other side, and his threatening level has just gone from 10 out of 10 to 1 out of 10. He has he has not threatening cumulative, not even close. So, yeah, Dad's looking like he wants to get the speed. It's fine to dump the ally. It's a nice 3. Force something from Joe. If he has it in hand, he's going to block. Yep, for combat. Bummer he didn't chuck that at Cthulhu. Cthulhu wouldn't have been able to play that, but, hindsight 2020. Yeah, dump that 4 make additional. Play it. Make him have it. He's going to go with the shiny shoes. Yep, there you go. Fry the 8. Joe duped 1 at the beginning of the hand, so that's 2 8s gone. You probably only have to worry about 1 more. I like this play. He's thinking about it. Does he have perhaps a Freya? He does. He does have a Freya in hand, so he's going to play it. And I'll bet you he'll concede. Yep. Boom, I'm out. Harness gone. Initiative switched, so They're both in an okay position here. I think Joe's in a higher, slightly more advantaged position because of that Reaper. But, Dad could draw his own Reaper and dump it hand one, and now there's only two cards left in the deck that Joe could use to defend it. He's got his own Fairy and then Merlin. So this is a pretty clutch draw here for hand three. Little back and forth. Dad's EFL still not in play, which is kind of unfortunate, but it's fine. Ooh, there's that third Morgan 3, so he's only going to be able to chain one of the two attacks. The taxes were the 9. And the home base slot is jammed up, so very interesting. One dupe is kind of unfortunate for Dad. It's like he drew some more speed. I see a couple allies. Slap one down on Joan. The brute force that she can play. Oh, Joe has his own Sheriff 9. It's a monster attack. Witch 8. Dad counters with his own. Another Sheriff teamwork with a nice, sexy any power, which he can follow his own if necessary. That 3 intellect is so threatening on him. And a Joan 8. Oof. These guys both have some haymakers back and forth. And so much speed to bump them out. Looks like I see a duality in Dad's hand as well. That would be really nice. You can fry the Sheriff 9 or perhaps the 8 off Cthulhu if you're not going to use the taxes, or even the Joan 8. Perhaps Joe's going to want and run here and take a big placing advantage. I guess we'll see. Dad has to play this carefully. Oh, and the Sheriff +2 to all actions. And then, okay, here's a huge tell, guys. Huge tell. Any power teamwork on Jane in the back. He is going to run. He's absolutely going to run. He knows Dad has initiative. He can't even really punish by giving him extra cards and betting 3. But that is so a tell. He has no defense. He just has a slog of attacks. So even though he's up cards, he put Dad in a very, very tough position here. That was a heads up play to throw that teamwork back there because he knows characters are going to get KO'd. I don't think Dad can go 3. Oh, he did it. He did it. I love that. Can't go 4, but you can go 3. Now Joe debates, do I draw a card? Do I draw an extra card? Is it worth it? Can I stop the onslaught enough to counterattack and retaliate? He says, nope, I decline the draw. I run. Oh, and Dad lost the Fairy. Oh no. The Fairy, the teamwork stopper, and duality. Oh, that's so rough. He's dominating in the venture, but now Joe's put himself in a great position where he can turn this around. Oh, that's so brutal. Dad needs to draw his Reaper here, and Joe needs to whiff on Merlin and his own Fairy, but he has a handful of keepers, so I think this is the turn where Joe's going to turn around. Oof, dupe 6. Could be worse. I guess Dad's only down 1 placing card because we can't really count the Jane teamwork quite yet. But that +2 to all actions from Sheriff. He has all 3 Spartan cards left too. And then just representing more speed overall in general. This is going to be a very interesting hand. I think this is going to be quite a slug out. Yes, you're so cute. Very curious to see what they drew. Joe drawing a full hand of keepers here is so good for him. 6 energy. Gonna slap that on Morgan. He is. To keep up with the placing. And Cthulhu's the call. Everything -5. Oh. -5 HP. We haven't seen either negate from Ladies in the Law deck, so possible that can be dealt with, but he also might want to use it on EFL or the 9 or the 8 half multi. He might need it to be used for a venture card, even if he has one of them. So he's got the 1 intellect, which can be trained up to a 7 with EFL, which is something. I have to go 4 for the win. I don't think he can do it. If Joe drew a couple of dupes, I think maybe he can push it here and try and seal the game. But I don't think so. Two, slow and steady. I like that bid, and Joe's going to go two as well. I think Joe is in a good position here. Ooh, I see a energy teamwork and an energy ally in Dad's hand, so just so much speed back and forth. I think there's going to be blood this hand. Just so unfortunate to lose the fairy and duality last round. But he couldn't bet more than three, like there's nothing he could do. Joe's backed himself in a nice, comfortable, back against the wall situation, but with all these cards. 2-2, fair trade. The follow-up special will be the 10. He's going to combo that with EFL. Nice big 10. Oh, the Joan. He has the St. Michael to bury it, and then as well as jam up other attacks. That's so good for Joe. And now the counter assault begins. Oh my god, he just threw a 3 ally as a 7. The sheriff +2, he is taking this hand down. He said, I'm going to win this hand. I cannot let you get into a venture 2 for the win situation. I don't blame him. Is that a St. Michael on the other side? I think it is, yep. And he is going to play it also to jam up some stuff. But using it on a 3 instead of an 8 is suboptimal. So Joe is still slightly in the lead here. But that does jam up that sheriff 3 at least. That's something. And Joe didn't have a discard, but I noticed he placed Ethnoarchaeologist on Jane, so he is down a card in, equal with the dupe that Dad had. There's a 3 from Cthulhu. That's super annoying because there's going to be 2 more attacks chaining from it. Just chains for days. Just string cheese. Unreal. Now Dad's in a tough spot. He can spend that 1, and then he's got the 8 left, but can he stop? Going to be 2 more attacks. If Witch goes down, it's so bad. Like that's the only 8 ranker, and he's got the 8 multi and the 7 placed, and the 7 is jammed up this turn. He can't even get it off. He's really, really debating what to do here. Yeah, just blocks with the 1 plus. You don't. Oh, oh no, he does have to train it up because the Cthulhu 3 is coming across as a 5 because of Sheriff. So he does have to train that 1 up to a 7. God, that's extra annoying. And now a 12 from Joan. Boom. Yeah, there's not much stopping that. That is disgusting. Oh, he has the Freya. Thank goodness. Otherwise, Witch was about to get smoked here by the 11 from Sheriff. Sheriff throws a 9 combat because he probably knows that Dad's going to have to concede this next action. So saving the 9 placed and throwing that one, I think a lot of newer players would just throw the 9, be like, boom, let's get 2 colors on her. Can't stop that. But that's still a 9. He's already used Spartan. So there's not much Dad can do about that. He's going to have to eat the 9. And then I think it's time to concede. Oh, no. He's debating counterattacking. Really wants the venture, but that Witch 8 sitting on her is just going to be nothing. It's going to be absolutely nothing. But he's done nothing to Joe so far. He's going after Joan. Interesting. I think I'd be chucking everything at Cthulhu at this point. EFL's already out. Joan 8's already out. St. Michael's already out. There's not a lot that Joan is threatening. Yeah, and Joe just takes it. I think he's going to have to trade Witch in exchange. That's a 5. 5. Joe still has a couple cards in hand. Let's see what he does. Debating. This is such a crazy slug out. Interesting line that Dad took to press the counterattack and let Witch go. Does have a shift. He's going to shift it to Sheriff and block with the 3 plus 2, so a 5 for a 5. Because he can't attack with it anyways. So Joe has managed to stop a lot of the bleeding. Gonna fry the 8 finally. Unless the Joe has the answer for it. It's just such a bummer to let. He should have thrown the ally from Witch, I think. Yeah, Cthulhu straight avoid in his hand. That's a nice play. The lucky draw. I think this round should have been started with that ally from the Witch with the counterattack instead of from Joan because Witch is gonna die next action. I think. He may force him to use the teamwork and use a couple of resources, but it's really debating. Yeah, the counterattack play was very interesting because Joe's now down to one card. I think Dad has one card. So you could go the 2 into the 9, that's 11, 12, 19, not quite enough. He can get him in Cthulhu the call range. It's so likely that Dad's going to draw a negate next hand to deal with that. So he is going to dump. That is the 6 any power teamwork coming across as an 8. He does get to use the 8 as nice value and block that. That is pretty nice. And then a big ol' 8 ball. That brings Witch to 16 two colors, so she is in the call range. Ah, I still had an any hero shift left, so interesting. We're curious what if Joe has a multi in his hand. That's gonna be huge. Sort of a blunder, as it were. But no, he does not. Interesting. Wow. Both guys had so much defense and so much ability to mitigate stuff. Both had their any hero shift. This is quite a battle. We're looking at 15 venture from Joe. The taxes being avoided was so rough because otherwise Dad would have so much venture also. But it's looking like it's 3 to 15. Only a couple few hits have landed. Now, Sheriff can still throw the 9 and then the call comes out and it's still game over. So at most Dad has one more action and we still have the question mark of what the hell is in Joe's hand with that one card. Yeah, he's got to bounce. It's a teamwork avoid. Interesting, interesting. But all those power cards had to be used for defense, so I still think Joe's in a pretty good position here. He's back on the offense now. He's done more damage. Um, Fairy's gone and Harness is gone, so it's gonna be really hard for Dad to defend Witch against the onslaught. He really just needs to land something yellow or blue, or one more attack and then the call, and Witch goes down. And that's just very unfortunate position for him. And we have yet to see Joe's Merlin or Fairy, so it's a tough spot. And now they're more equal on venture. They're both a couple hands away from victory. I see the Sheriff 9 in Dad's hand, but the Morgan 3s are gone. We've seen all three of them, so that is locked up. Joan 4, make 2 additionals. Joe just has so much speed, so much power. The flaming arrows, that's a kill shot. A 6, and the target may not place specials next round, which is irrelevant if they're KO'd. Sheriff brings the pain. See, I think a 3 multi, which can be buffed up to a 9. Where are Dad's negates? That is just, yeah, he slaps a 3 on Witch. Don't blame him. Where are those freaking negates? He needs some sort of counterplay to Joe's EFL and the call. He's been doing a great job defending against the speed, but Joe's also kept his guys fresh. He has a single hit on one of his characters. He's got himself back in a venture. Okay, there's one negate. We got the Merlin, so we got something. Now he has some sort of counterplay to the call, but he really needs the other one to deal with EFL also. And then as soon as he KOs someone, Jane comes up with Ethno, and she'll be able to just wipe away Dad's EFL. So it's a rough position for him. I think if I was in play right now, I'd rather probably be in Joe's shoes. It looks like I think he has a slight advantage right now. All from that hand one Reaper. He's just been carrying it this whole time. Teamwork. Now are we going to look at a one and run from Dad and go to one of the final hands? Looks like 11 cards plus 2 or 3 in hands because the Sheriff 9 is not live back there. So I think they're even. I think they're 11-11. Is Joe going to go 3 for the win? Just put the pressure. No, he's conservative. He knows what Dad's deck is capable of. He goes 2. Going 2 as well. So I think we got another slug out coming here. Interesting to see if Dad can survive this initial onslaught, because there could be 4 or 5 attacks coming his way. 2 multi for the kill. I really like this open. Make him burn the 3 without getting any boost or additional value out of it. I think Witch is just dead here. Oh, but Dad has his Reaper, so if Joe had the negate, he probably would have placed it on Joan, the Merlin. And then again, maybe not, because then she's just a magnet for teamwork. So, yep, spends the 3. Oh, 6 for the KO, make additional. Oh, that's so rough. He saw the Reaper and he wanted to stay in, and I totally understand. This onslaught is going to be so hard to deal with. He makes him spend the negate to stop the chain. So now that negate can't be used as counterplay. It's the only option to keep her up, so I get it. Now do you throw the Reaper, or do you try and dump at least the ally off of Witch first? Or one of those two. You don't want that 7 to be jammed up on your home base the rest of the game. He's really at a decision point here. Joe has 2 or 3 in hand. I think 3. But if you lose this venture, you're in such a bad spot. If you lose this venture and Witch dies, you're in a really bad spot. I know that Reaper's just calling to him. I'm going to get him back. I'm going to get him back. But even if you KO Joan, there's not really that much that benefits you in doing so. We've already seen so many Joan cards from Joe's side. Really, both sides. It's really Witch and Cthulhu that just need to be dealt with. Looks like he is going to go ally into Reaper. Oh. So many interesting lines taken in this game from both players, which is part of why I love Overpower. There's multiple things to be like, I don't think I would have done that, but it worked out for him, or vice versa. So that's why this game's so awesome. Still going after Joan, chucking a 3 coming across as a 5. If you can KO her and drop that big bonus attack, then Joe's speed is severely mitigated. Oh, interesting play. He goes with Hades. Interesting. So Joe had his fairy. Wow, that was a clutch play. He had his Scry 5 and fairy. We kind of smelled there's no Merlin because he probably would have placed it on Joan if he had it over the 4. It's just a bummer he can't play his Reaper, but he knows he has to keep Witch up, so I totally sympathize with the play. Both players running very low on cards. I think they don't even have a full hand left after this next one. There's a dupe Joan 4 for Joe. We see an 8. Ooh, and a dupe. Dupe 7, dupe 6, dupe 7. Oof, Joe lost 3 cards. Brutal. Maybe this is where Oh, 4 cards! 4 duplicates! Oh, my Atlanta. This may be the hand where Dad can bring it back, even though he's still from behind. Oh, he lost a second card. All those power cards sitting at the bottom. Oh, 3. He does have 3, so it's a fair fight here. They both had just a crappy draw. Unfortunate duplication on both sides. Brutal. Now, does he have enough to keep Witch up? I see 2, 3 power cards in hand, including the 8. Can he survive the onslaught? And now the call is back to live again because we still have yet to see the Morgan negate. 5 multi on Joan, that's gross. That's threatening an 11 as a kill shot. I hope Dad sees that. Just a naked 11, boom. And we've seen the Freya. We've seen the Merlin. Not that Merlin could stop that. And we've seen the Fairy on Dad's side. So he's really going to have his own 5 any power. 5 multi. One of those 2 cards, I believe, is the only thing that can stop it. So if Joe's tracking this, it's really up to which player is tracking this. That would just be a disgusting, over-the-top, bury 3 Witch cards. And he bets 1. Joe likes to do this feint thing. Oh, I'm not feeling so confident. But if he drops Witch, he can just step on the throat and end it. You gonna help me commentate? Help me commentate. Decisions. Like really some laboring over what to do for first action. I think Joe's thinking through what have we seen, what haven't we seen. Is there anything that's going to stop this? He decides to go with a string instead. It's also fine. This two strength or two brute force is not really representing that much, but perhaps he's counting something silly to get to 15 and then do the drop. He's doing the chain gang. Interesting to switch targets, go after Joan, kind of confuse the opponent, paint everyone up. I don't hate this play at all. He spends the 4. Spends a 4 or 6 to block a 6. EFL is cancer, but at least it's on both sides, so it's kind of fair. Oh, the Cthulhu 11. Didn't. Yeah, yeah. Cthulhu 11, 5. He did have the 5 multi, so now he knows that that other 5 will get through, but that's a clutch play. Bump that 5 up to an 11. These decks both just have so much power. Stopping the 11. Now we still have an attack left from Sheriff. They could dump that 9 and get 9, 10, 11 plus. Is the 9 enough? He's going to tax the 8. Interesting play. I don't know why he didn't just throw the 9 for the kill. Taxing the 9. He wants to guarantee the ventures. Joe have 1 card left. And he could Spartan up that 5 on his own, and there's nothing Dad can do. So he's going to dump the 8 and finally let Witch go. Make him spend the... Okay, I kind of like this counterplay. Make him spend the 5 so that he can't use it as a kill shot. Actually, a really solid play. And the 10. The 10. Down goes Joan. But now in the counterattack, Joe doesn't really care that Joan's gone, I think. EFL's still out there, still prepping the Jane who's going to come up. He even might have wanted her to go. 3 for the kill from Cthulhu, last card. Should be able to follow with the 9, which I believe is also a kill shot, if my math is right. I think it's time to let Witch go. Block with a 5. At least make him spend the 9. I like it. Interesting. He's going to go for the double kill. He knows he hasn't seen the Morgan negate yet, so switching targets, being able to throw that 7 as which Morgan can't block with the 6, and she has a couple of cards on her. Very interesting targeting from this game. I learn stuff from Joe every time I play him, every time I watch. I get so tunnel vision on attacking the same character. This character must go down, but I really like spreading the hits. Also, if you can keep Sheriff in the back, and then when you bid for the wins next hand, you can just mitigate that 9 by just dropping characters at the start of the round. Really creative play from Joe. Put Dad in quite a tough spot. Multiple occasions. Thinking. Players have battled so much, and yet there's still tricks they pull on each other, which is just great. He's gonna let Morgan go. Interesting. Let Morgan go. Check the 7 as a 9. Gonna start painting up Cthulhu. Where's he gonna run? You're gonna draw that Morgan negate next hand. We did cut the Morgan full heal from our deck, so it's not a viable draw. He's really going back and forth and laboring. Do I chuck the 9? Do I let Morgan die, or do I run? Yeah, he runs. Teamwork. Yep. I don't fault him at all. Now up comes Jane, which is a huge bummer for Dad because, I mean, he is going to draw his Morgan negate this hand, so that's good, but he's going to have to spend it on Ethno, which is just really unfortunate because then he can't use the call, or Joe will just win the long game. And these guys are both almost fully in power pack. Cthulhu is fresh. Cthulhu is fully fresh, no damage taken. So Joe's 8s are safe. He's got more Spartan cards. And he's just in a dominant position here. I don't know if there's anything that can be done to turn it around. And that Sheriff 9 still jammed up in the back. That Reaper was a huge lead, but Joe has just done an excellent job playing. And there's been, there were some good counter punches for sure. Like this was way close all the way through, as most of their games are. Looks like one duplicate for Joe. What a draw. Here's that Morgan negate, the second copy of Shiny Shoes. Caught a lot of people off guard. Oof, still has Teamworks left. And that's a kill shot teamwork on Witch. Very interesting. Yeah, might as well slap the negate down. Joe gets his own negate finally. So he could even cancel Dad's EFL after Morgan has been dealt with. Now he can play the Cthulhu the Call and just to force the negate. He can also play Ethno to force the negate, kind of. I mean, I don't know if Dad can let Ethno go through because just going from one EFL to the other, yeah, I don't think there's anything Dad can do at this point, which is just a bummer for him. But he's just back in the corner and so much lower on the bonus resources that both these decks bring. Joe still has the nice flaming arrows back there. 6 offsuits, threatening so much power. Multiple teamworks, big power cards. Yeah, I might as well slap the Shiny Shoes down. What the hell? Yeah, I like keeping all the power cards, so even though he's out of Spartan boosts, maybe can throw off Joe's targeting a little bit, but I don't know. Still goes 2. It doesn't go 4 for the win. I think Joe could go 4 for the win here, but there's no rush. Slow and steady. It's been a quick game. Only a couple of big decision points where they stop to think. Dad takes a drink of water. 10 for the kill. Try and sneak through and just not even deal with that negate. Does Dad have his own 4 multi? Oh no, never mind. There's no Spartan left. Yep. Stick a fork in Morgan. She's done. I think the writing's on the wall. What a game, though. What a game. Back and forth, back and forth. Yeah, and they're talking. He's asking if he can. Like, wait a second, can I negate EFL? And Joe's saying no, because I played it this action. Or I didn't play it this action. That would be the only time that you can defensively get rid of it. Otherwise, you'd have to burn your turn. Oh, Morgan down. Morgan down. The beautiful witch has been defeated. That's unfortunate. Back against the wall. What can you do? And now Ethno is free to rip EFL to shreds, and the call is free to just tighten the grasp around the throat here. Joe has so many cards in hand, he'll surely be able to defend whatever onslaught comes from Dad. It's been an epic dance, though, not gonna lie. This game's been pretty freaking close. Considering Dad got Reapered for 4 at the beginning, and then made great use out of keeping those last 2 Spartan cards, which was an interesting line. Just such a battle. 6 blocks with a 6. Seems fair. 4 plus 2, though, so I guess Dad's getting a tiny bit of value. He's going to Shiny Shoes rip something. Make him spend them. I guess Could make him spend the Merlin, and then next turn the 9 is live and it's not just jammed up. Yeah, go for the call or Ethno, make him spend the Merlin. Oh, he lets it go. Interesting. I think that's the play because then you can just you keep your Merlin to jam up the 9 next turn, and there's nothing to stop Ethno, and then you have EFL for all Jane attacks, and then Dad no longer has EFL. So I actually like that play. I think a lot of people would knee jerk Merlin it to keep the -5, but Joe doesn't need the -5 at this point. Yep. Bye bye EFL. It was nice knowing you. It was very nice having you all game. But now it's kind of back to that unfair one player has it, the other one doesn't. Such a big card. That's a 6, no longer an 8 to block. Joe can take that colorless all day. A 1 that's no longer boostable by anything, so it's just a 1. I mean, I like that he's keeping the big power cards for defense, but at the same time, there's only one 1 in this deck, and it might be a while till you see that one or ever get it back. So putting yourself down a card. But again, I mean, this is all a formality at this point. He's going through the motions, but I don't think there's anything he could do to dig himself out of this hole that Joe has dug him in. Joe's just thinking through his options, making sure he's not going to make a drastic misplay. Flaming arrows for the KO. Make him spend a 6 or 7. I like it. Fine. It's fine if Dad runs. It's fine to spend the place card. If the venture's in a different situation, I think you save the place card, but he says, Joe said, very, very important. You will not be able to place specials next hand. As they're in Power Pack, that is irrelevant. That's why it's always fun to play against your buddies. There's a lot of fun stuff. There you go. Get used out of the 7 before Witch dies. Throws it on Jane. Interesting. Jane's the only one who gets the +2, but Joe doesn't care. I'm taking an elect hit. Is Dad still going to win the venture here and just lose 2 of his characters? Prolong his pain? I guess it is a possible outcome. Joe really thinking hard about what to do. The -5 is gone, so the 6 isn't as scary, but Witch has 10 or 11 damage on her. Big 6 for the pain. It's actually an 8. 8 to block. Gotta take that one. No bonuses on the follow-ups and no more females on Joe's team, so gotta eat it. Now he spends the big ol' 8. 8 for the kill. I think Dad already spent his 8. Ugh, down goes Witch. Yeah, like I said, it's kind of a formality at this point. Tis unfortunate. That 9 would be really nice if it was live this hand or this next hand, but Joe being able to save that final hand or second to final hand drawn Merlin. It's an annoying 2, second color. Yeah, he blocks that one. Gonna say it jams up the 1 and the 2, so Dad at most would keep 6 cards. He plays a Hades, sure. Yeah. What a dick. I'm just kidding, Joe. Love you. Hades, reset the venture. Now that you have your EFL is gone, you're down to 2 characters. I have the counter move to your last thing left. And I have a Spartan card or 2 left. Yeah. Just 0% chance at losing this game now. Here come the 8s. Duplicate 5. Dead 8. Wow, Joe kept a monster. He kept 6. And Dad kept 5. I guess it could have been worse, but Dad has initiative now, but with only one special card left, not much he can do. Slap down the 7. Slap down a 6. Why not? Joe doing the card count, as you should with every hand, no matter what. Goes 2 for... Nope, still not the win. Dad's got to venture first, so Joe jumped the gun a little bit. So excited about going 1-0 here. This is just crazy because this game is actually so pivotal. Even though it's game 1, it set both these guys on a different course, and without spoiling anything, they both had a phenomenal tournament. So if this game had went the other way, who knows? Who knows what would have happened? Both such good players. Both took some very creative lines. Chuck a 3, block with a 3, sure. No EFL on Cthulhu. He does not identify as female, even as much as Joe would like him to. Alright, that's a teamwork. That seems a little rude and unfair. Last card in hand. Oh, nope, he's got one more. Blocks it, but now he's getting boosts. I believe that's a 7 intellect, so it's going to be +1/+1. Joe's got a mitt full of cards. That's a 7 from Jane. Disgusting. Spends a 7 to block a 4. Ugh. That's a 6. Gotta eat it. The 6 is sitting on Sheriff. And again, this is just a formality. Not much he can do, regardless of whether that was placed or in hand. Concedes, and he will be put out of his misery this hand. Joe reshuffles the power pack, draw 2 more. Dad reshuffles the power pack, draws a fresh 8, but will not be able to keep any 8s or any 1s. So at most, he's keeping 6 cards, including the card placed to Sheriff. And he has nothing that can threaten a KO shot to any of Joe's guys. Nothing he can do to deal with EFL or Spartan. Joe can just uptrade. Looks like there's 3 dupes for Joe, so he keeps 5. Gross. Dad keeps 4 plus the 1 placed. So I guess only 1. No, it could have only kept 1 more possibly. Yeah, I can't even keep those 6 energies now. Those are dead cards. So because Morgan and Witch are both gone. That is a downside to Ladies in the Law, is the grid synergy is not fantastic. Boom, we throw a big training to end Joan. And now it's just the law with no ladies. Throws a 9, negates it. Boom, there's an 8. Not shit that Sheriff can do to stop that one. Three at Cthulhu. Block with a 3. 6 plus 2 is an 8. Can't stop it. And then he'll just throw the 7. Yep, there's the handshake. Oh, what a freaking game. What a game. Game 1, Nationals in Ohio. Wow, that was incredible, actually. That was quite a game. And it could have gone either way. Like, they're both phenomenal players. Both had a fantastic tournament. I didn't really see any misplays by either player. Both methodical with some creative lines they took, and yeah, just a kick-ass game. So, guys, go ahead and tune in for round 2, which will be posted shortly, and let me know what you think in the comments, play styles, the game itself, commentary. I'm trying to get better, practice on this stuff. Hopefully everybody was entertained. Don't forget to like and subscribe, blah, blah, blah. Appreciate you watching. Peace.